So we finished the summer transfer window, and the board are disappointed that we've not grew the club's reputation. The supporters are disappointed that we lost a game against reigning champions Lillestrøm. And yeah, I'm disappointed that we leak money faster than when my wife has my bank account. So my question of the day as we get into today's episode is, what are your thoughts on Football Manager 2025 as we get them step-by-step weeks closer to its release? Do you have a save planned? What are you doing? What would you like to see me do? Make sure you go into the comments and let me know all that vital information. We're going to start by having a look at our fixtures and results so you can see exactly how things are going. And let me tell you, it's not been plain sailing, but at the same time, I kind of expected it to be how it was through the month of July. So first off, we ended June with a victory and a defeat. Unfortunately, that was coming in the cup. So we beat Ullkista 2-0 in the third round before going out in the fourth round to Viking Stavanger 4-1. We then entered July where we had Stabæk, Lillestrøm and Egersund, three of the biggest clubs, as well as Kongsvinger, who are no slouches, and unfortunately we looked really bad. 2 draws, 2 defeats. Very, very poor. We did score some goals, though. 2 goals from Torresen and Finch against Lillestrøm, 1 goal from Torresen against Kongsvinger, and then we got 3 with Østegård getting on score sheet and Finch getting 2 as we drew 3-3 with Egersund. So going into August, I knew we had to pick up some points because we were cruising our way down the table instead of up it. And we started the month by losing to Viking Stavanger 2-0 before Torresen got the only goal as we beat Sandnes 1-0. We then travelled to Sogndal, Torresen again on the score sheet for us, but we did lose the game 3-1. But we've just got back-to-back 1-0 wins. First off, Bjørn Gulsen on the score sheet as we beat Fleury 1-0. Then we just beat Ullkista with C on the score sheet. And very nice to get back-to-back wins. You can see we are sitting in 8th place today. Played 19, won 9, drew 4, losing 6 with 31 points. We are 5 points outside of the European spots. We are 20 points clear of relegation spots. And to be honest with you, if you ask me right now, I would very, very happily accept that. I mean, if you ask the board, they definitely won't because we've not grew the reputation. We've not done anything. I mean, grow the reputation. When we took over, you were battling relegation to the 3rd tier. Within 12 months, we are now chasing European spots in the top tier. Idiots. Don't get me going. Don't get me going. And by the way, supporters, look, disappointed. Disappointed with our lack of effort against Lillestrøm. We lost the game 3-2. 3-2. Not 6-0. We lost the game 3-2. Stay calm, Paul. Stay calm. In terms of how things are going after the summer window, which we're going to look at, we are still by far the lowest spenders of 1.13 per annum. Ullkista are 2 million. And so, I mean, I personally think we're doing very, very well. And we are battling way above expectation. Now, if we go into the transfers then and transfer history, it's been a tough summer, if I do say so. So first off, Matthias Guerini left us to Beijing Guan. He left us for 34k. To be honest with you, the only reason we sold him is I was trying to get people off our wage bill. Because, yeah, I did say moving into the top flight we were going to find out how profitable of a club we were. Not even close. And Maryland went to Fleury. He was a non-contracted player in our reserve team, so he's moved on. Østegård, our best attacking player, went for 1.2 million. And the reason behind that sale is we were closing in on going into the red. And financially, we were really, really struggling. And I want to try to rebuild Rosenborg as a club, not just a first team. So doing that as a club, sometimes you got to take the hit to balance the books. So he's ended up going out. And Stepan Loshar has gone out on loan. We can talk about him because let's look at the ins. So the first in, say first, there's only 2, is Stefan Lonkar. So he comes in, very decent central defender, but he's only 5'11". come in with the idea of maybe retraining that defensive midfield position as well. 19 years old. Now, for some reason, I don't quite know why, I agreed a contract of 2.8k a week for this guy. I think I had the idea we could move him on after a few months and make some good money on him, which we still could do. I still think maybe at the end of their season, which I think is next summer, we can maybe just offer him out and cash in on him, because they've took him on loan and they are paying all of his wages. So we've got all his wages off our wage bill. So maybe just get him out on loan for a year and then sell him, because for 5'11", he's never going to be a centre back. I don't know what I was thinking. Okay, I really don't know what I was thinking, but let's just sell him. Let's just sell him. It's agreed. We're going to sell him. And for 92k from Lillestrøm is Hans Asia Strummen. And I think it's a good purchase. I really liked him at Lillestrøm. He was a very solid rotation player we had in the squad. And the fact he can play striker, behind the striker, centre mid and both wings, I think he's a signing we had to bring in. 1.3k a week. We agreed a pre-contract for him to come in the winter. I asked how much they wanted to buy him now, and they said 1.3k. He's on a week. They said 92k. I thought, you know what? We've just sold Østegard for 1.2 million. He's basically come in as one of the replacements for him. And we have a youngster who's come up as well. So I think it was money well spent, well done in terms of that 1.2 out and then 92k in. Yeah, I am pleased with that bit of business. Now, in terms of our tactic, over the last 2 games, we've ended up actually changing tactic. We've got 2 back-to-back 1-0 wins. We were looking really bad against them better teams. Now, yes, they were better teams, but we were looking really bad. So I've ended up going with Ingebertsen in goal, and we have the German and Figueroa, Juan Pablo Martinez Figueroa, who is one of my members. I've said it before, I'll say it again. If you want to be in when FM24 starts, within the save game, below the video you will see an option to join as well as subscribe. It's a small appreciation. It's cheaper than buying a cup of coffee. And if you're watching all my content, I think 1 cup of coffee a month worth of a subscription isn't too bad. And it just does help me out. It helps fund things like, I just bought this. Let me show you. Bought this because I already have 2 lights, and sometimes it just wasn't enough, so we've gone with a third, and it's much better, so I'm quite pleased with that. So for the next game we have to go with Torloy Fremstad, who came through the academy of right back, because unfortunately injured for the next few weeks is Harry Henriksen, who's on loan from Lillestrøm. He is with us for next season, remember, so I'm excited we've gone for so long. Tronseth, he came through our academy. He's still only 16. He doesn't turn 17 until halfway through next season. He's just, wow. Alongside also a member of the channel, Rudolf Pereira Lima Torres, who is also developing very nicely. Mentally and physically, I think this guy is a top player. 20 years old now. I honestly think he could develop really well. And then Dahl at left wing back obviously came through the academy as well. So we actually have 1. Was it? Yeah, he was academy. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of our 11 in the next match through the academy. In the attack and mid, then we have 3. We have C, who is looking good, and we paid 275, and he's another player who potentially we have to move on if we don't get European football over the next 12 months. If we don't get European football over the next 12 months, we might have to move him on to balance the books. Torres, who came through the academy, is looking really good for us. 6 goals, 6 assists in 18 games. I'm retraining him as a shadow striker in the attack midfield position to fit into this new tactic. And honestly, he's just a very good player. Then up front, we have Patreon member, which is also linked in the description if you want to do it on Patreon, Dan Finch. And I've got to say, Finchy is looking very good. 17 starts in the league, 9 goals, 3 assists. Aged only 18, doesn't turn 19 till before the start of next season. And yeah, another player I honestly think could develop really well. He's 27 games for the first team, have all been with me in charge, 10 last season. He's got 11 goals, so he's better than a 1 in 3 at the minute. And as a young player, I think we can develop some people around him, and we just look very, very solid. Now, another thing I'm waiting for is the fact that we do have some very high earners on the staff here. You can see these three here. Actually, I think we can click quite a few of them. All with the club before I joined, and they are absolutely ripping the club dry financially. We are spending pretty much double a month on staff compared to players' wages, and once we can get all of these out and continue to develop the academy going into next season, I think we could become a profitable club. I know if we took a gamble, there is that possibility you can gamble and get lucky and get European football. Then financially you are secure. But I don't think we should put the long-term future of the club at stake on a gamble. I want to rebuild Rosenborg from the bottom all the way to the top. And to do that, you've got to get rid of all the dead wood, not just plaster over them. And that is why, during this rebuild of a fallen giant, we are doing it properly. We are doing it the way you should rebuild a club. Dig the foundation out. Rebuild that foundation. Rebuild the squad with academy players. Rebuild the backroom staff with players who are not bleeding you dry. Rebuild every aspect we can affect as the manager, and then push forward from that starting point. We are not at the start yet. We are still rebuilding and readjusting and refinancially fixing the disaster that is this club. Now, we did end up making 1.1 million last year. We're 2.5 million up at this point, but we're still struggling. We really are still struggling. So we can't look at that and just think everything's rosy. We are projected to have 1.2 million at the end of this season. I don't think that's going to happen. I really don't. But we will find out. We will find out, and we will then move forward from that position. But at the minute, when we look at the income, so players sold, ignore players sold. 327 from gate receipts, 77, 71. It's very little coming in. Expenditure-wise, if we go up last month, staff wages 284, tax at 200, then you've got transfer expenditure 167, we can ignore that. Match day expenses, youth setup. Look at that, players' wages all the way down here. We're spending less on players' wages than youth setup. And I've got to say, the fact that we are dragging this team in the top half of the top flight, we've got to say we are doing a very, very good job. I have just realised we've just looked at all of that with me still on full screen. But you get the point. You see here, you set up 124, players' wages of 115. We've got to push on. We've got to improve, and we've got to continue to rebuild this squad and this team. One thing to mention is our B team still very short of players and battling to survive in the third tier. It wouldn't be the worst thing going back down. That's kind of the last aspect we look at, because the B team is for players who I want to develop ready for the first team. Well, anyone who can kick a ball at the minute is going now first team. So we just kind of ignore that at the minute. Our under-19s are looking very solid. Played 33, won 33, 99 points, 121 goal difference. So we are looking like we are going to be going into the playoffs to try to get back into the top flight of under-19 football. Shankar has 47 goals in all competitions in 37 games. So he's had a really, really good season. 16 years old, obviously came through the intake this year. I would kind of like to see how he did playing for the B team next year. Kind of would like to see that in the fourth tier. I think it would suit him better than third tier for his first season. Again, another benefit of actually going down, to be honest with you, is some of these players might get football for that B team a little bit earlier. But I do think when we get our intake going in next season, we will probably sign most of them as we look to continue to fill out the B team and the under-19s. So, that's how we're looking. That's how things are going at the minute. I want to thank you for watching this episode. And the next episode will be the end of season. We will do a live come on the last game of the season as well. So thank you for tuning in. I've been Paul, also known as Northman, and I'll see you next time.